Greetings from the Northwoods of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I'm Natasha, and this is Plant-Centered Living. Today's suggestion for a topic came from Mitch. Mitch lives in lower eastern Michigan, and he is one of the founders of a group called Powered by Plants. Powered by Plants serves as a resource for people who are making the transition to a plant-centered lifestyle. If you want to learn more about what they're up to, go to www.poweredbyplants.org. Neat organization, and I think you'll find some good resources listed on their site, and also some inspiration. So Mitch, I appreciate you taking the time to suggest this topic of supplements, because I think a lot of people out there, especially those who are making the transition to a plant-centered lifestyle, are confused because people say, well, you know, where are you getting your B12? Shouldn't you be taking omega-3s? What about vitamin D? Well, I would like to simplify this for everyone, and I'm going to share my personal beliefs. Again, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, but I am a health educator, and I have many years of personal experience as someone who is plant-centered. So there is one supplement that I choose to take, and that is B12. And here it is, B12 supplement. It is made by Diva. It's sublingual, which means it goes under your tongue and it dissolves very quickly. I take one of those each morning, and there you have it. So B12 is something that many of us, well, all of us, used to get in our diets, because fruits and vegetables used to contain traces of soil on them. We used to go to the backyard and pick our fruits and vegetables, and we would clean them, but we probably didn't get all of the soil off of them. So we were getting B12 in and amongst those soil microorganisms. However, today our fruits and vegetables oftentimes come from many miles away where they've been sanitized, they've been washed several times. So again, we don't have the same kind of access to B12 that we once did. For those people who choose to eat from the animal kingdom, what happens is some animal like a cow eats soil, gets some soil while they're grazing on the grass. It goes into the body of that animal, and then we, in fact, may choose to eat that animal. And then we would be getting some of that B12. For those of you who are eating any types of processed packaged foods, like alternative milks or cereals, they oftentimes are fortified with B12. And if that's the case and you're eating those foods, you probably are getting enough. For those of us who are whole foods, plant-centered, and we're not necessarily using a lot of those processed packaged types of transition foods, we may not be getting enough B12. So again, I take a B12 supplement. They're quite inexpensive. They're under $10 for that bottle from Diva. And let me look on the package here. There are 90 tablets, so it's going to last you, 3 months. So again, I feel like it's a good investment in your health. Other than that, I mentioned vitamin D and omega-3s. I personally don't believe that we need to supplement with those, especially if we're eating a variety of foods and beans, grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables. I feel like we're going to be getting enough of those. Something that really helped me to see this whole issue into perspective was this book, and it's called Whole. It's by T. Colin Campbell. He is the same author that did the China study. He's highly respected. I personally respect him greatly. He wrote this book about the fact that we have become so reductionist in our approach to nutrition that we are missing the forest for the trees. That perhaps the reason that different vitamins and minerals and components of our food help us and help us to be healthy is because they're actually working in concert with all of the other elements of that whole food. And it makes a lot of sense to me, and I personally subscribe to that line of thinking, that we should not be looking at things at such a micro level. When it comes to the other two that I mentioned, omega-3s and vitamin D, omega-3s, many people suggest that you take fish oil. Well, fish oil is problematic for several reasons. One of them, obviously, when you are living a plant-centered lifestyle, you don't want to eat another living being. Second of all, that living being is very high in saturated fat, cholesterol, things that we don't need. And thirdly, that fish actually gets its omega-3s from algae. So why would we not want to just eat algae? You know, cut out the middle fish and just go straight for the algae if we believe that we need more omega-3s. Now, I didn't mention, and this is up for debate as well, but fish oil could possibly contain heavy metals, because fish in general contains heavy metals. Now, many of the companies that make fish oil put it through strict testing, and in their literature say that any heavy metals that may have been present are no longer there, and that would be up to us as consumers to decide if we trust what we're being told. Now, when it comes to vitamin D, the best source is from the sun. And yes, those of us who live in the north don't get as much sunlight. However, just a few minutes each day on our upper body, the chest area, the neck, face, upper arms, that can really make a big difference. It's hard for me to believe that because we don't live near the equator or live somewhere where there's full sunshine, that we were somehow designed to take vitamin D supplements. It just doesn't make sense to me. I will say that we as a culture have become much more, we dwell indoors a whole lot more than we ever did before, so we certainly aren't getting the exposure to the sunlight that we did. But if we make an active effort to be out and have some exposure to sunlight, I don't believe that vitamin D supplementation is necessary. So I hope that by touching on these 3 supplements, by again telling you about this book, Whole by T. Colin Campbell, that you can do some further research and make that decision for yourself whether you choose to supplement now that you are transitioning to or thinking about a plant-centered lifestyle. Thank you, Mitch, for your suggestion of this topic. I encourage all of you out there to send me your ideas of topics for future videos. I hope you all have a great week. Take care.